Good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. Here's what we have in the bulletin. 3 motorcyclists killed in Heroes Day crash in Westmoreland. JLP and PNP spar over state of the economy. And later in sports, reggae boys to know their Nations League quarterfinal opponents this afternoon. Thank you for joining us. I'm Shane Masters and here are the details. The number of fatalities involving motorcyclists increased on Monday when 3 men died from a crash on the Waterworks Road in Westmoreland. More in this report. The 3 motorcyclists reportedly collided with a truck about 6 p.m. A pillion rider was also wounded. The deceased have been identified as 18-year-old Jermaine Scott of Darliston, 24-year-old Relay McLeod of York Mountain in the parish, and a man known only as Sanjay. Head of the JCF's Public Safety and Traffic Enforcement Branch, PSTEB, Assistant Commissioner Gary McKenzie, says the collision resulted in one of the motorcycles bursting into flames which damaged a section of the truck.
Based on what we gathered, the Freightliner motor truck was traveling from Whithorn towards Ferry. Upon reaching about 350 meters south of the Galloway and Waterworks intersection, the 3 motorcycles that were traveling in the opposite direction failed to maintain their course in the left lane and crashed head-on with the motor truck. As a result of that, the 3 motorcyclists, along with 1 pillion rider that was on one of them, were seriously injured. Unfortunately, the 3 drivers of the motorcycle died at the Savannah Mar Public Hospital.
The pillion rider was admitted in hospital while the truck driver was treated and released. ACP McKenzie says the motorcycle drivers and pillion were not wearing helmets. As at October 17, there were 324 road fatalities resulting from 299 collisions. The National Road Safety Council, NRSC, reported that as at October 12, motorcyclists accounted for 105 deaths. Its vice chairman gave this warning last week to motorcyclists.
Over 90% of those who die on our roads are not wearing helmets. They are speeding. Many of them are untrained. The motorcycle that they are driving, in many cases, is not properly maintained and unsafe. They don't have the proper braking system. There's something called electronic stability control, which helps to maneuver the bike, the driver, when they have to escape from a threatening situation. It is saving lives all over the world, and we need to make sure that the bikes which are assembled here or imported has the proper braking system.
The Portland police are raising alarm over the worrying murder figures in the parish since the start of the year. Head of the Portland Police Division, Superintendent Lloyd Darby, revealed that there is almost a 25% increase in serious and violent crimes in the parish when compared to the corresponding period in 2022. Speaking at the latest meeting of the Portland Municipal Corporation, Superintendent Darby said murders, break-ins and robberies are among the most concerning issues plaguing the parish.
We have 13 murders since the start of the year compared to 9 this time last year. Break-in, we have seen an increase of 12, 39 break-ins compared to 27 this time last year. Robberies, we have seen an increase in 8, 14 robberies compared to 6 this time last year.
Superintendent Darby said domestic disputes have been linked to the majority of serious crimes in the parish. While Portland continues to record the lowest murder figures in the island, since the start of the year, the parish has recorded the second highest percentage increase in murders, with a 44% rise. Only Hanover has seen a higher percentage increase at 69%. Prime Minister Andrew Holness says the recent increase in salaries granted to public sector employees was part of the government's response to help Jamaicans deal with inflation. But even as the government is responding to this, there is an explanation from the Prime Minister that the spiraling food prices are not the government's fault. The details in this report from Kerry Simpson.
That make you feel miserable, angry, cross.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness's description of how he says many Jamaicans are feeling due to the climbing food prices almost daily. But he said the shocks to food prices started back in the COVID-19 pandemic and are not due to any failing on the government's part.
We don't have anything to do with it. It's a global phenomenon. But we are the government and we must manage it.
And they have been trying to manage it with assistance to the most vulnerable, as well as increase the minimum wage and the pay of public sector workers. Furthermore, he pointed to the 4.5% unemployment rate as an example of how well his administration has managed the economy.
This administration is skillfully managing the reset of the economy to ensure that we recover from inflation.
It is why he says the JLP-led administration is not being distracted by the opposition.
We have enough good things to campaign on. We don't have to use negative things to campaign on. We don't have to tell lies on people in order to win.
Kerry-Ann Simpson, TVJ News.
In the meantime, the opposition is claiming that the assertion that the cost of living would double under a PNP administration is baseless. Shadow spokesman on finance, Gillian Robinson, in a release this morning, called on Mr. Holness to ground himself in reality rather than indulging in unfounded predictions and what he termed is, quote, crystal ball gazing, end quote.
When the PNP took office in 2011, we inherited an inflation rate of 7.56% from the JLP. By the end of our term in February 2016, we had reduced it to 3.68%, significantly alleviating the cost of living for Jamaicans while maintaining fiscal responsibility. We reiterate our call for the current administration to do much more to alleviate the cost of living crisis being faced by vulnerable.
Some vendors in Yala Square, St. Thomas, are demanding that the newly constructed public restroom be opened. They say for years the town has been without a restroom. The vendors want urgent attention to be given to prevent a recurrence of what happened at Hero Circle.
No toilets, no bathroom. We want to people we have to run go far down at the seaside with alligator they attack people.
We are suffer out here. We have vehicles stop asking where they can get bathroom. None in the street. People don't want to let them bathroom.
Councillor for the Yalas Division, John Lee, explained why the facility has not been opened.
The toilet is away about some chain away from we that them build up, and it's still low. We're not going there. It was open. We don't know, so it's a shame.
I've taken the initiative to write to the minister in regards to this facility. We have completed construction and now we are await the NWC, but based on the roadwork project and all of that, we have to take in consideration their time frame and all of that so that the water can connect and everything is up and running.
And it's time for a break here on the Midday News, but stay with us, more stories when we return. Welcome back to the Midday News. An urgent appeal this afternoon for the local government ministry to provide more funds to deal with infrastructure issues and an increase in the mosquito population across the island. Now, the call comes from Councillor for the Grovetown Division, Isabel Brown, who moved a petition at the recent meeting.
Fix some of the bad roads. Persons are complaining bitterly, and your worship, the dengue that is out right now. When you walk and look at the potholes, it's second water for days. And sometimes when I talk about it, someone might say, but that is not disaster. It is disaster to me because the water is there. So another letter asking our minister for some funding to fix some of those bad roads.
Her call has also received support from Mayor and Councillor for the Royal Flat Division, Donovan Mitchell.
am still awaiting some address or something coming out of the ministry as it relates to roads and the dengue and cleanup and all of that, but
it's us, it's tears.
Hospitals are full to the brim.
Some councillors in the Clarendon Municipal Corporation are taking issue with assertions made by Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton. This is over his comments that the dengue outbreak may well go into next year. The Health Minister made the remark as he updated Parliament recently. But councillors are of the view that Dr. Tufton is not taking the virus seriously enough to put adequate measures in place.
Public sensitization, instead of working closely with agencies to rid the communities of areas which breed these mosquitoes. Him train man up in a year and say, boy, we have to live it till next year. I was disappointed when he made that comment. As I say, maybe joke, but I don't think as a joke when lives have been lost. When our children are the most vulnerable, our old people are the most vulnerable to the dengue virus.
But Medical Officer of Health for the parish, Dr. Kimberly Scott Campbell, says the parish team has been making every effort to minimize the spread of the virus.
We know the communities where we are. Our vector control teams and our health education teams are out there targeting. But I will not share with you publicly the locations in Clarendon where they are, but I know where they are. And the teams were informed of where they are. And we have the class 1 notification so that we know the precise location where they are. So we are doing our targeted intervention in these communities. Not only the general things that we're doing, but we're doing targeted intervention in these communities.
And it's now time for the Business Minute. The Inter-American Development Bank has invested more than 10 million Jamaican dollars in a joint program with the private sector organization of Jamaica. Dubbed the Empower JA Building Bridges for Business Success Forum Series, it will provide support for local businesses.
Through these forums, we are setting the stage for enterprise to embrace sustainability, innovation, and inclusivity. The IDB has been a beacon of support, continuously bolstering our mandate in pinpointing the essential sectors that demand our attention. Today, as we launch these forums, our collective focus remains firmly on data-driven insights, catering to the unique needs of SMEs and large enterprises.
Further afield, Rolls-Royce has announced plans to axe up to 2,500 jobs globally to create a more efficient and effective company. The engineering giant said it needed to engage with unions before making further announcements. The company, which makes engines for aircraft, is based in Derby. It was hit hard by the pandemic when air travel was grounded for months. And that's it for the Business Minute. Time now for the top regional and international stories.
In the region, Belize Ministry of Health and Wellness says fake Tylenol has been discovered at various supermarkets across the country. The ministry says it has started investigating and removing all products found countrywide. The falsified product identified bears batch number GS13790 with an expiration date of March 2024. The ministry warned all merchants and wholesalers who currently have the medication in stock to contact its office. On the international scene, the bodies of at least 52 people have been recovered from the Congo River after their boat capsized late last week. Officials fear the death toll could rise, with many still missing. The boat was carrying over 300 people when it overturned near the town of Mbandaka in northwestern Democratic Republic of Congo during the night on Friday. Over the weekend, 30 people were confirmed to have drowned, with 167 missing. And a gunman suspected of killing 2 Swedish nationals in a terrorist attack in Brussels has died after being shot by police, bringing an end to an overnight manhunt. The Belgian Federal Prosecutor's Office confirmed that the suspect, whose identity is yet to be confirmed, has been killed. He was spotted by an eyewitness in a cafe and then shot during an intervention by the police. Brussels has been on its highest terror alert ever since. And those are the top regional and international stories. I'm Carrie Simpson.
And we head to a quick break. When we come back, Jermaine Brown will have your midday sports report. Thanks, Jermaine. And that's the Midday News. I'm Shane Masters. Join us at 7 for Prime Time News. On behalf of the news, sports, and production teams, have a good afternoon.